Okay, guys, we spent some time a little while ago going over these adding polynomial steps, and you're going to notice I've left the steps here. So making columns in standard form of all kinds of variables, sorting the terms into the corresponding columns, and then totaling each column to find answers. Now, last time we went through kind of 4 that we're kind of building our skill. So I want to do a couple more that are a little bit more intense or complex. So if I'm taking a look at this entire problem and I'm looking for the highest exponent I see with a variable is this x to the 4th. So I'm going to start with my x to the 4th column, and then I'm going to move it down 1 so I get rid of the x's, and I'm going to be left with just the number column. Then I'm going to go through each term here, and I'm going to make sure it goes in the right column. Now, there's a couple things that I might do to kind of help myself here. One of them is that I'm probably going to add a 1 here and a 1 here because I assume that 1 is there whether I write it or not. So that part would probably help me make sure I've got stuff in the right spot. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start to sort. So I have negative 4 x to the 4th, negative 11 x to the 3rd, plus 6 x squared, minus 1x, plus 1. So I sorted everything that was here. And really for us, that was a pretty good deal because it was already in standard form. I just had to get stuff in the right columns. Now, this one, not so much. This one we're really going to have to work with because things are not in the right order. So I have 3x, negative 6, positive 10x to the 4th, positive 1x squared, and negative 7x to the 3rd. I hope at this point you guys are good with the fact like this one was negative 7x to the 3rd. And so I made sure when I wrote that the negative got there. So you should be good with that part now. Okay, and I'm going to draw a line now, and I'm going to start to get my total. So in this first column, negative 4 plus 10 is going to be 6. So 6x to the 4th. Now, if I total this column, negative 11 plus negative 7 is negative 18. Now this column, so positive 7 and positive 1, or excuse me, positive 6 and positive 1 is positive 7. Negative 1 and positive 3 is going to be positive 2. And positive 1 and negative 6 is negative 5. Here's your final answer on that one. Okay, let's look at a couple more here, and then we'll go on to some more practice. So on this next one, I'm looking at this and trying to find the highest exponent I see with a variable. So the highest exponent I see right here is this d to the 5th. So I have d to the 5th, and then I'm going to set up standard form. So 4th, 3rd, 2nd, d, and then my number. Don't worry if you're going to use all the columns. Just make sure you have them in case you need to. Then I'm going to take each one of my terms, and I'm going to make sure it gets sorted in the right columns. So let's see, 4d minus 5 is going to be negative 5. and negative 3d to the third. So I've taken care of everything in this first one. So now I'm going to go here. Since this is a second parenthesis, I'm actually going to go to the second row here because in my head that makes it easier. But if you want to write some of these in spots you have up here, you're more than welcome to, as long as you get them in the right column. That's really what matters. Okay, so 7d to the third plus 8 and negative 9d to the fifth. So once I know I've gotten everything here into the column that it belongs in over here, I can make my plus sign and draw my line. So negative 9d to the fifth. That's easy because it's the only thing in this column. This column I could ignore because I don't have anything in it. So I'm going to go here. So negative 3 plus a positive 7 is a positive 4d to the third. This doesn't have anything in it, so I can ignore that. This 4d is the only thing in that column, so I'm going to bring it down. And then in this last column, I have negative 5 plus 8. So it's going to be positive 3. So if you want to write that and put them closer together, so terms are right next to each other instead of those open spots, you can do that. Okay, here's our last one. So all of these are added together. So remember, when I look at columns, I've got to look at the whole thing. So the highest exponent I see is this q to the fourth, which happens kind of in these two spots. So I know it's going to be q to the fourth. So I'm going to set up my standard form. So 3, 2, 1, and then remember your number is going to be on the end. Now I am going to go ahead and set up each of these terms. I kind of like to circle them because then it makes it easier for me to make sure I'm getting the right sign with everything. It kind of helps me organize. So I'm going to look at this first parenthesis and I'm going to put that in the first row. And then I'm just going to keep going. So I'm going to do the second parenthesis in the second row and the third parenthesis in the third row. You could have as many rows as you need to. I think it just helps you kind of get organized. So let's see, I have 8, negative 2q to the third, positive 7q to the fourth. So I have taken care of everything in this first parenthesis in this first row. So now I'm going to go to this second parenthesis and I'm going to get that organized in the second row. So 3q to the fourth plus 6q squared minus 5 is going to become negative 5. So this has been sorted in the second row. Now I'm going to take this third parenthesis and I'm going to put it in the third row. So let's see, 9q to the third minus 4q to the second. So as soon as, again, all of this is sorted into the right columns down here, do a plus sign and draw a line so I can start to total. So in this column, positive 7 and positive 3 is going to be positive 10q to the fourth, negative 2 and a positive 9 is going to be a positive 7. So remember, you're totaling those coefficients in the front. That's why it's important to take negatives with you if you have those. Now if I look at this, so positive 6 and negative 4 is positive 2. Q to the second. Now, I don't have anything in this column, which is kind of lucky for me. if I go to the last column, positive 8 and negative 5 is going to be positive 3. So it's going to be 10q to the 4th plus 7q to the 3rd plus 2q to the 2nd plus 3. Okay, make sure you go over the ones that we've looked at over the last couple days before you go on to your assignment. Okay, let me know if you have questions.